Hello everyone, my name is Abhishek Chan and this part is the continuation of the previous one where we started building our own RESTful API and testing validation framework without using any tool, right? So we are completely using the libraries from Python to build our validation framework. Um, so I just opened a Swagger UI where it shows that we have four different kinds of API implemented. And we have implemented the critical positive for test where we are just confirming all those four post get put and delete subject. Right now, in today's video, we're gonna see, how we can include, negative scenarios. For example, if we try to create a user which is already exists, then what kind of response we get from the application server. If you want to, extract the user with a get request for which is not yet, saved or created, and what response we get. Same thing if we try to update the data for the user which doesn't exist, then how our server behave. And same thing with the last option which actually helps us to create the user if we try to do on the system response, right? So let's quickly do that. And for now, you just bear with me because I know this is not the complete framework. It's just the test script, and we have a lot of redundant code. What we're gonna do in our upcoming videos, we're gonna remove all the duplicated code, and we're gonna create a bunch of generic function which we're gonna use to create our test. And probably in next video, you will have a very concise framework where all you need to do is just call the function with a different attributes, and you will be able to just do the automation for you RESTful API endpoints, right? So what I'm going to do is the first one, if we try to, let me just copy paste this here, and let me say test post request to create. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to create a user which is already exist, right? So what I'm gonna do here is so this is user 24173. Let's we can check on database whether this exists or not. So I'll just database here, which is okay. So I can see this user exists, which is user 24173. If I just go back here, okay. So if I execute this one, let's see what happens. This is the response we are getting, which says that status is gonna be error, and the message is going to tell us interesting ideas of right? So this is the additional field which we're gonna get in expected response data. So we have a status, but rather than having a success, it's gonna be error, and we can get the precise error message from here. It's this one, and if this gets passed, then we can say a negative scenario will also be important for us. So the last one is okay. So now we are to the next one, and it seems like it's working fine. Let's see with get existing user. If we try to get the user which is not yet created, what happens? So this ID I'm 100% sure that exists. So if we check, so here it's not a very consistent response which I have in my application server. And I did this intentionally so that we can see, if we have a different implementation, but I know how it is being handled, just throwing an exception. And inside the exception, I just throwing this specific just have response in case we try to get the user which doesn't exist in our system, right? So let me just, before come here, let me just start. non-existing user. This is my user ID. So what I'm going to do. Whatever the user ID we have, it's going to be created, right? And then that will be available here. But what I'm doing is just appending the test, which will make this user ID, which is not yet created in our system, right? And this time assert status code. Let's check. So the UI working status code we appended here. So rather than verifying this one, since it's generating uh, exception. So definitely the code will come up here. Right. Let's see. And then we have our response JSON. But instead of this entire thing, because it's not being written by the application server, it's just this just to verify for this. So we don't need line or we reset this and come in this. So we should be good. See. Okay. So sixth one as well. Negative scenario for get request. Fast code updating system. Okay, so now we are good. Now let's assume if we try to update, the user ID which doesn't exist, what happens? Try test code update. User. Okay, here I'm just so if this see swagger stride support our payload, which is my request, these three fields, and then we have additional fields, status and message. Status is error, message is user not found. Let's copy this user not found. Gotcha. And here, this is gonna be error. Get. Okay, so let's go and see. Sense because now we are actually leaving the responsibility of the code submission handle the situation just with the exception which the application server is to be in case we have to extract the data from the system. But this is not we are concerned about because that is something which the team has to take care of. We are more concerned about writing the test. Okay, so if I run this time, then we should have seven test cases, which should be passed. We are doing great so far. The only thing is we have a lot of repeated code. And as I mentioned in future videos, I will make the framework which is actually. So now what's happening here is the user ID which I'm using, which is actually Okay, so I think. Okay, so actually I just made a mistake because it is on the back. So, one. Okay. Good. So run it. Okay. Same thing. In the meantime, we can quickly check for if you user is right or not, and so you add the user which exist. Okay. So we are getting, user ID is taken as a message. Same user not found. So now see, this one is fine. So what we need to do here is paste status code is also 200 because we responded with the status in the message in the response body rather than the exception. That's the reason start with this 200. So delete data we can see here. Okay, so success. Fun. So that's one. And implementing this additional case, we should be done for all positive scenarios. There can be n number of different scenarios. There can be some wrong cases. But you have to just think about it. First, we have to understand how the application server is implemented, what are the endpoints do we have there, what kind of functionalities is it is exposing. And accordingly, you have to be able to positive scenario, your negative scenario, your boundary cases, and whatever you can think of to just break the application, right? So you have to keep this as a mindset. And testing is not just to confirm what is known, rather it is a process through which you can discover the unknown where the things can go, right? So all the negative scenarios have been implemented, but the problem with this is still a lot of code are repeated, right? So what we can do, we can remove the redundant code with some functionality and which we can keep calling in these tests, right? That is something which we're gonna see in the next video. But so far, we are able to just automate all the positive and the negative scenario. And in the next video, we're gonna actually start working on put together an automation framework where we have a generic function which we can use to just test any application server which are exposed by Restful API. So that's it from my side. And if you guys have any feedback or any suggestion, please feel free to put that in the comment section. And stay healthy and keep learning a new. Thanks for watching us.